I was like, at this point, I didn't care what was going to happen with these deals. I was like, whatever, this is getting crazy.
What's up, junkies? Welcome back to the RE Junkies podcast. We've got Chad Johnerson with us again, and we are so excited that he has agreed to stick around and share this bonus episode with us. So, Chad, very little prep. We just gave you a few seconds to think about this. You've got 3 prompts. Pick one, and then we'll dive in. So, 1 is, what is your hardest deal or a horror story? 2, what was your most successful deal? Or 3, what is a crazy deal you have in real estate? Which one are you picking?
The first one, horror story.
All right.
So, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to begin with this. I had an investor that was connected to me through a contractor that I met on a completely different, unrelated job altogether. This investor was looking to buy land, and they wanted to buy, 4 pieces of land out here in Colorado. And I was like, sure, haven't done a land deal. Would love to, go through the process, see what it's like. Really, I want to understand every aspect of real estate. It was such a mistake. We ended up getting them under contract on 4 different pieces of land. And I was under the impression that it was going to be, hard money or cash deal, which is very, very standard in terms of land deals, where people, they're going to close with hard money, then they're going to turn around, do all the due diligence, all of the engineering reports, soil tests, everything, right, to get everything prepped out for building on this. So this investor really wanted to build some properties out here on the land, and they essentially started doing this due diligence during the transaction phase, which is just like kind of a little off, a little weird. And I was thinking, okay, like I don't understand why, they kept saying, oh, our lender needs, all of this information in order to lend on it. And like, why? It's hard money. This doesn't make any sense. Like, your lender should not need this information. Come to find out, we're about 4 weeks into these land deals, which also that's a pretty long time frame if you're going to close with cash or hard money. Yes. And the lender decides to like pull the plug like 3 days before closing, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, we're 3 days before closing, like we're past literally all of the contingencies for this, this buyer to get out of. And, he's not really stressing about it. And I'm like, okay, I don't know. There's something that I don't know that he knows, or how, like, he's not thinking anything of it. He's like, it's fine. All we need to do is just show them that, like, we're going to come up with the money somehow. I'm like, okay, cool. How do you plan on doing that? Like, do you want to just do this cash? He's like, yeah, we have enough cash on hand. However, the contractor working with them said he would assume the contracts and close with his own money. Come to find out, this contractor did not have said money or anything near what was needed. Yeah. So contracts had been assigned already prior to him. So I've assigned these contracts twice now to 2 different entities, because they wanted to open an LLC here in Colorado. And then the contractor was like, oh, I'll close on it. It's fine. I have the money and funds. And then you guys can just, buy it back from me after the fact. And I was like, I don't care, whatever you guys want to do. Sure. I can draft it up.
Just get me to the closing table.
Yeah. I was like, at this point, I didn't care what was going to happen with these deals. I was like, whatever, this is getting crazy. Yeah, he's not able to fund these deals, not able to close on them, have to reassign them back, or no, so crazy, actually. It gets funded by a different partner in this investment group, closes in the other guy's name, and they quit claim it back to the other company after closing. Oh yeah, nightmare of a transaction. They only closed on 2 of the 4. They had funds present for one of the third properties like day of closing, and then they decided not to close. They didn't sign closing documents, pulled the funds the next day, and then like the seller decided that she was going to sue and pursue damages. And so yeah, that was an absolute nightmare, and made me absolutely just resent like land deals after that. I'm like, I don't think I'm ever going to do land again.
Oh my gosh. So do you know what happened with the lawsuit, or how that where that went?
My client at the time didn't realize he had like 80 active deals going on. Like he does a lot all over the country. So he's like, yeah, I didn't even realize like I had signed for the additional earnest money. And that was what they were essentially, that was all they could go after, was the additional earnest money that he agreed to pay. So he's just like, whatever. And then he wired, the additional earnest money. And then that's all that seller got. They couldn't come after anything else.
Thankfully.
Yep.
Thankfully. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was fun.
And how did you get connected with this buyer? It was a referral, or?
Yeah, it was a contractor I met on a different job through different investor. I have since fired that investor because I just did not resonate working with him. He did a lot of things that I didn't agree with. Yeah, so that's how I got connected.
Holy cow. So
investors are a tough bunch to work with sometimes.
Yeah. We're both investors with our families, and as such, we're very particular about which investors we work with on the agency side, and we see a ton of that go on. So, learning lessons, things you would have done differently.
I would have gotten like absolute clarity from the buyer at the time, like, hey, how do you plan on funding this instead of just assuming? That was like a huge mistake that I had made, was just sort of assuming like, they had told me, just in passing, oh yeah, this is going to be cash deal or whatever. I'm like, why? And then in my mind, I'm thinking, why are we working so closely with this investor to get them all of these, weird, soils tests and samples and engineering reports? I'm like, why do they need to have a full like architectural design before they'll even lend on it? Like, this is getting weird. Yeah, it turned out to be a construction loan, which I was like, how in the heck did you expect to close a construction loan without owning the property first?
Right. It's tricky. I mean, it's very tricky. And I just had a deal where they were closing a construction loan to buy the place, and it was 45-day closing. And this is a company that has, they said 100 lots in and around Denver. So like they know, right? They know exactly what they're doing. It is a well-oiled machine. But they came through for the soils test, and obviously they've got to do that before their due diligence is due for the soils test and for the survey, right, on the contract, before that contingency hits. And they completely just blew up the front yard of this seller. Like, I mean, they brought the backhoe in, or skid steer. I don't know the machinery. Okay. Like, some people are going to come for me in the comments. I don't care. All right. Whatever machine they brought in, it was wet and absolutely tore up the front yard. And then obviously they've got to drill down however many feet. Well, when they came back up with it, just the soil just went everywhere. And my seller's like, so I think they're going through with the deal because they don't care about the front yard. And I'm like, it's probably a pretty good guess. Yeah, probably a pretty good guess. But, you got to, if they don't know what they're doing, all of that can be a absolute nightmare throughout the process. And what number deal was this for you when you were, like from 1 to 15, where you're at now?
I think that was like 13 and 14 were those strung out for, I think it was like 2 months before we finally closed on just 2 of the 4.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was a nightmare. However, I learned a ton about land and how those contracts sort of shake out and play out. So,
and then I was going to say, I mean, great learning experience. And then at some point you probably hit a roadblock with yourself, and you're like, I'm kind of running out of excuses to use for ask for more time on this to get us to the closing table. Like, then you're like, how creative can I get without absolutely selling my client under the bus? Like,
yeah, that was tough. That was honestly the toughest part, was like, how do I keep telling this agent that we plan on closing. Because, they kept telling me, they're like, yeah, we're definitely going to close. And like, I kept getting told from like the contractors, like, oh yeah, I wired the money. Like my guy told me that the money was wired. I was like, your guy told you that the money was wired. I was like, cool, send proof of wire. And he's like, don't ever ask me for that. I'm like, dude, what's wrong with asking for that? I just need to verify.
Well, first off, as an agent, I'm either going to verify the wire or I'm going to start raising red flags that your wire ended up in the Cayman somewhere. And now I need to help you get the money back, or, and now I have a duty. I gotta go help you find the money. So, help me out so I don't look stupid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was tough. Just like the amount of pushback from even like on the client side for me. It was just like, I'm here to help you through this transaction. Like I'm on your side. Like, I'm not against you. I just need to know, like, are we closing or not?
Yeah. I wish there was like an agent client privilege. Like there's an attorney client privilege. Obviously we all know in the business, we're not sharing our clients' secrets, but like something very formal, like the attorney client privilege. And you could be like, listen, just tell me whatever it is and I'll go make whatever work. But some clients just, for whatever reason, they keep you in the dark. And those are the ones that scare the shit out of me.
Oh yeah. Those are the most terrifying ones for sure.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, I'm glad you learned, and that was quite the story. That is a great learning lesson. And I think for you, what you just said, the learning lesson, like, hey, I'm not representing clients like that. And I'm asking more due diligence of my own client up front, and probably steering away from land deals in the future. Just like you mentioned it many times when we talk, and it's about your niche and finding your niche. And we didn't touch on that too much in this episode or your main episode, but I know that's something you are working towards and focusing on, is really just getting good at and like getting great at one thing, one niche, and just nailing it down. Which there's a ton of money to be made in every single corner of this real estate world, all the millions of different corners. So again, Chad, thank you very much for coming on, and thanks for sticking around for the bonus episode. For those of you guys listening at home, if you want to catch Chad's full episode where he breaks down everything that he went through as he was transitioning from full-time engineer into full-time real estate broker, catch that episode. It should be the episode right next to this one on your favorite podcasting platform or on YouTube. Chad dropped a ton of great actionable knowledge for new agents and those agents looking to get over some speed bumps in their current business. So check that episode out and make sure you follow us on your favorite podcasting platform and leave us a review if you caught some value out of this episode or any of our others. Chad, thanks again. And we will see you junkies on the next episode.